This episode is brought to you by Netflix. From the creator of Homeland, Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys star in the new Netflix series, The Beast in Me, as ruthless rivals whose shared darkness will set them on a collision course with fatal consequences. The Beast in Me is a riveting psychological cat and mouse story about guilt, justice, and doubt. You will not want to miss this. The Beast in Me launches November 13th, only on Netflix.
Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and each week I'm joined by a panel of guests to discuss all things fandom and pop culture, primarily from a female perspective. You'll find everything from fanfic to cosplay to Schitt's Creek to Supernatural and everything in between. So put on your favorite piece of fandom merch, set aside that fanfic that you're writing about your OTP, and sit back and enjoy this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to this special episode of Pop Culture and Fandom News. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and I'm very excited to have with me Jen Williams from the company Eventeny. So hello, Jen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here, and everybody will learn more about your company in our third segment. I know a lot of our listeners, me included, love conventions. You deal with that, so it'll be so much fun to hear a little bit, I think, of some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that some of us might not know or some of our listeners might not know. So I'm excited to hear more about your company soon. So
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I can share all the fun stuff.
But first up, I do want to know, and it's so exciting when it's someone that's never been on here before, but what is one thing in fandom or pop culture that you're into, looking forward to, etc.?
So it's really funny, Erin, that you asked me this because we just were talking about, older shows, and I just finished Golden Girls and then The Golden Palace. And I'm so upset that they didn't at least try another season with Golden Palace. They just called it done with the one season. But I enjoyed watching The Golden Girls so much. Have you watched that series?
Oh, yeah. We actually just covered it earlier this year.
Oh, did you really? Oh,
yes,
cool.
yes. Love that show. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a classic.
I guess when I was younger, because I'm Gen X. So when I was younger, it was around, but it wasn't in my wheelhouse, So now it's fun. I can understand. I can relate. And it was just but Golden Palace, did you watch that one?
I watched some of it for the preparation. I hadn't watched it when it was out, but when we prepared for that episode, I went ahead and watched it,
How did you feel about Golden Palace?
I liked it, but it was missing something for me. But I think maybe if they had kept going, it would have, I don't know, grown a little bit more and maybe found its footing. So, yeah. But you wanted another season, so you liked it?
Similar reasons, because I wanted them to, first of all, I think it's hilarious that Cheech Marin was in it. I think, and then, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Don Cheadle?
Yeah, Don Cheadle. I was like, so that made me laugh. But I just would have loved to see the characters built out a little bit more and just taking it a little further. But they didn't. And it was just a bummer. So that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was just because they didn't have Dorothy there. I think might have been part of the reason. So the audience maybe was like, we're not going to watch it as much. But yeah, The Golden Girls, especially when you watch it, because I'm Gen X too, but when you watch it now and you look, and then you're also like, wait, they were like almost like I'm almost their age, and it doesn't compute.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you seen those posts on social media where they give them all like current hairdos and styles and stuff? So I think that's fun too.
Yeah, because I think that's a lot of what it was, is the way people were styled back then and the clothes they wore and like the shoulder pads and all of that made people. Yeah, it made people look a lot older than they were.
And boxy. Yeah.
And boxy. Yes, exactly. I think shoulder pads are coming back. I swear I saw them somewhere and I was like, we don't need these back.
No, nobody asked for that.
Exactly.
Let that fashion trend just be dead forever.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't need that again.
Yeah, we had a great time talking about that show earlier this year. I believe that was this year. I don't know. This year feels like 10 years all rolled into one. So,
I agree.
but it was so much fun talking about that and revisiting that show. And I think people have rediscovered it and younger generations have rediscovered it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Fergie the dog. She loves watching television. Okay. She loves watching horror movies. I'm not even joking.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
she loves watching true crime. And she loves watching Abbott Elementary, but she also loved watching The Golden Girls.
Oh, I love that. See, she's a cool dog.
Yeah. What I'm into is totally like the other side of the spectrum here.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I went and saw the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie, Bugonia, which I don't know if you've heard about this one, Jen, or seen it. It's very much a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. So if you are familiar with his stuff, he did, of course, Poor Things, and The Favorite is the stuff, is the two that he's most famous for, but he also did The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and a few others. And this is a movie about two conspiracy people, two guys that are conspiracy theorists, and they believe this CEO, played by Emma Stone, is an alien, so they kidnap her. And then it goes from there. There are, of course, triggers in this of, like, there's kidnapping, so there's that. There's violence and, other things that are going on in this. And I've been always very mixed on Yorgos Lanthimos. The only movie that I kind of liked before this was Poor Things. But this one I actually really, really enjoyed. It's funny. It's darkly funny.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. And one thing I appreciated, I want to tell everybody as a heads up, there was no assault at all, like any kind of sexual assault or anything like that. Anything that would be where you normally would see that if it's two guys kidnapping a woman.
Right.
And you didn't see that. And that was nice. And I thought Jesse Plemons, who plays one of the guys, and Aidan Delvis, who plays the other one, they were both really good. I thought Jesse Plemons was fantastic. Emma Stone is really, really good in it. And yeah, it's just an enjoyable, weird, odd movie.
Yeah.
And that's
Sounds
kind
cool.
of, it's kind of timely.
Yeah.
I guess it's a remake of a movie that came out in like 2010. So I never saw that. It was and it was called Save the Planet, I believe.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to see that one and compare the two. I've heard they're pretty similar, but I liked it. I don't know if it'll get a Oscar love. It could, but I don't know. It's kind of too early to tell.
I like that you said that it was like about two conspiracy theories and then a kidnapping of an alien CEO, and then it's a dark humor. I love this. Is very intriguing. Is this always the kind of movies that this person makes? Is like this?
Yeah, their movies are pretty different and unique is the best way to put it. Some of their movies I haven't liked. Like everybody loves The Favorite except for me. I'm like the only person in the world that doesn't like that movie. Poor Things is a very odd, it's like a kind of like almost a take on Frankenstein in a way, except it's a woman, Emma Stone, and it's a little bit different. And then the movie, and I don't like this movie very much, but the movie The Lobster is basically about people that are, if they don't find their soulmate, I believe this is how it goes. I haven't seen it in years, even though we're covering Colin Farrell, who's in it in a couple weeks, but it's about like people, they don't find their soulmate, then they turn into an animal of their choice or something like that. I believe it's
weird.
Yeah, so he does very weird, odd films. He's just an odd filmmaker.
Okay, I have to look into this. What is it called? The Poor or The Lobster?
The Lobster is one of them, and then there's The Favorite, which is pretty much probably his most popular one he's done. And then Poor Things was a couple years ago, and actually Emma Stone won her second Oscar for that one. He's pretty odd, so it's not necessarily going to be for everybody. But But I liked this one a lot. Carla, frequent panelist, I know that she loves this one. She's already seen it twice. So another recommendation out there for it. Again, it won't be for everybody, but I had fun with it. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to watch the trailer for a movie that speaking of Oscars, this is a movie that is supposed to be amazing, and Jessie Buckley is being talked as being probably the person who's going to win for Best Actress. So we'll be right back to look at the trailer for Hamnet. Okay, so we're back. So this is the time. Check your show notes. You're going to hit pause in a couple seconds, watch the trailer, then hit unpause and listen to our reactions to it. So there's a new Chloe Zhao movie coming out called Hamnet, which is, if you don't know, this is about, basically, it's based on a novel about how Hamlet, the play, Shakespeare's play, came to be. And it's all about child loss as well, just as a trigger for anybody out there. And this has been on the circuits, and it's supposed to be fantastic. So we are going to watch it, and then we'll be back in like 2 seconds with our thoughts. Okay, so what are your thoughts on that trailer, Jen? First off, have you seen this trailer before?
I have not. It's the very first time. I wanted to save it for this so I could get authentic reaction here.
So what are your thoughts?
I want to preface this with I dig Renaissance fairs a lot. So I think this looks incredible. I love the scenery. I love the staging. I love their costumes. Their makeup looks incredible. Everything about this movie so far, it looks really fun. Like it's like the backstory that nobody ever thought they wanted to know about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we get to hear it. And I would go see it most definitely. I'm definitely intrigued. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm glad I picked this trailer for you then, especially with the Renaissance Fair part, which I know a lot of our panelists and listeners love Renaissance fairs as well. And I am really intrigued by it. And especially because I have heard though, that it's absolutely heartbreaking, that it's really emotional.
I can see it.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're dealing with the loss of a child, of course, that's going to be very emotional. But it really, really interests me. I used to be a theater geek. And so learning more about Shakespeare, and I realize this is probably not necessarily, I don't know how factual it is to say, but anytime you can learn, I think, more the backstories of how great works of art came to be and the inspiration from them, I personally enjoy that. And I think her performance is what I'm most looking forward to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to see, because I've just been hearing nothing but raves about her.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that. And I think Chloe Zhao is one of the best directors we have around. I think she is so fantastic. And so anytime we can have more women behind the scenes and getting recognition is another like plus in my book. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks so well made. I feel like I've seen Paul Mescal, the lead actor there. I feel like I've seen him in something else. I can't place him though. But yeah, it looks great. And I definitely see the emotional side of it. Definitely going to be some tears.
Yeah, I think it was actually Jeremy Allen White, the actor Jeremy Allen White. He was in Telluride because this premiered in Telluride. And that's also where his movie, the Springsteen movie, premiered. And he said he watched it there, and he said it was one of the most heart-wrenching and emotional movies he's ever watched. So I don't know. I mean, that's just what that's what I've heard from most people, is that it is like just like gut-wrenching study of grief and stuff like that. So I'm sure that'll be hard to watch, but yeah. And I don't know if you saw After Sun or All of Us Strangers. Those are with Paul Mescal is in those two.
Oh,
he was also in Gladiator 2.
Maybe that's where I'm thinking of out of all the movies. Gladiator 2.
And it's also interesting to me because I don't know if you're familiar with Jessie Buckley's work, who she's like really this like one of the hottest actors around as far as like talent goes, I think, right now.
Okay.
Like people just rave about her. But it's interesting watching this because she's going to be in a movie that was coming out this year, but they've pushed it to next year, The Bride with Christian Bale. And that's like the Bride of Frankenstein. She's playing the bride. And it's like more, it's like almost like a Bonnie and Clyde version of the story.
How fun.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. So are you familiar with her work at all before this? No.
Not like I wouldn't know. So like maybe, but I don't know. I don't know her. I've heard of her name, but I couldn't say movies, but I wouldn't doubt that I haven't watched the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. It does. It's one of those where like sometimes you don't know the name, but you know the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
And she looks different in lots of things that she does. So it's not like she always looks the same.
Mhm.
So that could be part of it too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I think my birthday is in this month, and I think it's coming out around my birthday. I mean, I guess it'd be kind of a heavy movie to make my birthday movie.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, great. Hey, maybe it's on the mood, right?
well, the Hunger Games movies used to always come out around my birthday, and those would be
Oh,
my
okay.
birthday movies. So, and that's not light fare. So I guess,
Yeah. I mean, still a great franchise. I'm just
yeah, exactly. It is. It is. Yes, yes. So, well, I'm glad I chose that one then, especially with the Renaissance Fair connection there. Just out of curiosity, then, are you a fan of Shakespeare then and Shakespeare's work, or?
I'm not going to say I'm a fan. I'm not going to say I'm drawn to it. Like I couldn't talk intelligently about it, but I enjoyed the idea of it. Like when I say that, like, I mean, I like the feel of that time, like the
Yeah.
Renaissance times. I like the rawness, just the grit, the power. The women were powerful. The men were powerful. It was just a powerful time. And I'm drawn to that for some weird reason. And that's reason why I like it. And Shakespeare always just kind of goes into that. And it's my story and I'm sticking to it.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. So yeah, he's one that like I don't like him as much as other fellow theater geeks liked him when I was in the
Yeah.
theater, but I've done like plays and stuff, and it's very it's a very different language and it's a different thing, and it can be
Right.
very complicated. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'll be curious to see the connection there to Hamlet. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Oh, of course. Thank you. So we're going to take another quick break. And then when we come back, Jen is going to tell us about some of the behind the scenes, the steps for, running, working at, or attending conventions, which we have all done, and about her company that she works for, Eventeny. So we'll be right back. Okay, Jen. So first up, tell everybody about Eventeny, like what you do and how you work in the convention space.
Eventeny is a all-in-one platform for event organizers. So what we do is we specialize in creating ease of use for them. So with event organizers, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's like the 5th most stressful job in the world. And
Really?
yeah, and the company started based on frustrations that the owners that their sister was having with finding a platform to help her. And it was making it more stressful having to use several different tools. So they made it a mission to help that industry not be as stressed out and to create which our new tagline, which is amazing, is out to outbox chaos. So that's what the basic overview is just Eventeny is an all-in-one software platform to help event organizers host their events. So that's where we host. Like when you buy tickets to an event, like for instance, in America, GalaxyCon, MomoCon, DragonCon, you're going to buy tickets probably through Eventeny, and you're going to get, if you're a vendor, you're going to apply to the event through Eventeny. So we're just kind of the platform that hosts it.
Yeah, because looking at the website, I saw that like even if you were wanting to volunteer at like a convention, like you even have like a drop down for that, like the steps for that. And it's just so fascinating to me because when you said it's the 5th most stressful job, I can see that. I have a friend of the podcast, Ishel, who recently, put on her very first event, her very first convention earlier this year. And I know she said it was very, very stressful, and that's why they're not going to do it every year.
Yeah.
Go every other year. But I could only imagine, like, if you're trying to corral people so with your service, with the service you offer, so is it like basically, are you trying to help, like say a convention comes to you and they're brand new and they're wanting to even know how to get started? Because I'm sure there are people out there that don't even know what to do. So do you have the
Right.
steps then that they would take from?
I'm going to answer that with a kind of. So it's not something that we're going to help them like actively because it's a plug and play type of platform. It's made to be easy to use. So it's even if you're a first year convention like event organizer, you're going to be able to use the platform and it's not going to be intimidating. And there's all different levels. I mean, and whenever you do sign on with Eventeny, there's different levels, like with any subscription platform, right? You can start with the basic and go all the way up to the pro. And if you have the pro with us, you get a dedicated account manager that can literally help you through the process. And we have the onboarding specialist. So there's quite a bit of help to get them started. But as far as like the logistics of running the event, that's something that they would have to like dig into their peer groups, But as far as like running the platform, that's something we can definitely help them with.
So basically, like the platform, like you said, for people to purchase the tickets, purchase the passes,
Correct.
if they wanted to volunteer, like I mentioned, like if someone wanted to volunteer for a convention, so they would just go to your website then, right? And they can choose the convention that they want to go to.
Absolutely. What you can do. So if I was a volunteer, you can go to eventeny.com and there's a search bar in there and you can search within a state. And we have a few conventions outside of America. But you can go and you can search by theme, you can search by state, you can search by month, and you can just find events in your area and then look for the volunteers opportunities right within the platform.
Well, that's awesome because then if you like were someone who wanted to like volunteer at a convention, or even if you're someone who's looking for a convention to attend
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, so if I'm going to your platform and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to find a convention that has to do with, say, horror movies or
Yeah.
horror books. And then you could basically like search just through that, narrow it down.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, and it's easy on both sides. So it's more or less a search engine for people. So like you would go to Google and say something to do in here this weekend, right? But you can kind of do that on Eventeny too. You just go and you put in your state, your date, and what type. You can say horror, you can say fandom, you can say pride, you can say whatever it is that you want to do. And it'll bring up all the events that are available. And it's really fun. When you do use something like a platform like ours instead of a Google search to find something to do, you find the smaller stuff, because when I say the smaller stuff, I mean like the smaller events, these new, like you were just saying, the newer event organizers, they don't have the ad spend revenue to be able to get their SEO up high enough to get their clicks to where they can rank, and so their events get buried below all the people that do have the ad spend money. So when you use Eventeny and you use platforms like ours that are still like a startup business trying to help these businesses, it goes a little bit further and you'll be able to find some more of the niche markets in your area and more of the more fun things that are going to be catered more to local business instead of mass markets.
Yeah, and I really like that because like you said, it could be like startups. Like, for instance, I don't know if you know, but like you said, there's a range of levels, or memberships or, like, and so what is like maybe the smallest convention you handle and then the biggest size convention that you handle?
Okay. And I guess smallest would be something like a small local market at a high school. So if you go to a school and you just see, there's like maybe 10 little marked stands there, something like that, or a chamber of commerce, they'll have something small that they throw for their communities. That's going to be on the smaller side. And then we do have the larger fandom events like GalaxyCon. Have you heard of the GalaxyCon franchise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. GalaxyCon, they use our platform. There's MomoCon. We have a lot of Pride events, Denver Pride. We have Twin Cities Pride. We have San Francisco Pride, Dallas Pride. So we're very Pride heavy on the platform. A huge ally. And we're a very inclusive company that takes pride in that. So literally pride. So that's like anywhere from 500 people at an event to 250,000 people. So it just there's a huge range.
That's awesome. And I love hearing the inclusivity because that's a huge thing for us on this podcast anyway. So hearing that, makes me happy. I know the second I went to the homepage, it's like the first thing you see is for a Pride event. And that instantly makes me feel welcome just because I know for my friends and for other people and for other allies and then people in the community, it will make them feel very welcome to use that. And especially, I think for some of those smaller events, it would be hard to find maybe, I don't know, the avenues or like the places that might get them seen more.
Right.
So that's really awesome. I love that you do that and that it's not just huge events that you help, that it's also smaller little events.
Yeah, we like that because it's about the whole industry, not just the big guys, and everybody needs a little help and a starting point, and everybody needs something behind them to support them. And that's exactly what we are. And we intend to stay that way as we grow, because we are actually growing very quickly right now. and it can be kind of hectic, but we are very committed to that service level of our customers.
And then I'm just curious because I know you said you love Renaissance fairs.
Uh-huh.
So when you're in this convention space, was this like something that you were like, you loved conventions already and you wanted to get involved to help? Or how did that kind of happen? You're laughing.
Well, my husband's an artist. So we're
awesome.
actually vendors at different conventions. And that's how I found this job was during COVID 2020. I was a vendor at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. And they were using the Eventeny platform. And then when we slowed down the business part of our artist business and we made it more about an artist instead of a business, I got a job and I came to Eventeny because I wanted to learn the event the event industry on both sides of it. Because one thing that I see within the industry is that vendors and event organizers, that relationship is very broken. It needs to be repaired. And I don't think I'm going to be the one person that's going to do it. But I think that doing something to help both communities understand each other is where I want to make an impact within this industry. So that's kind of where I came from and how I got into this. And because we're vendors we do San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, some of the larger shows. So we don't do the smaller shows. But that's how I got into this. Long story. Sorry.
No, I think that's awesome. I think that would be more appealing to people to know that someone is experienced in they've been involved in the convention space. And I think that makes a difference. And I have heard from people who are vendors at conventions that sometimes there can be that kind of broken communication or not understanding each other kind of thing, or a breakdown in communication if something changes. So so I've heard that's a problem. So I'm glad that you're there, that you're trying to. I know you said you can't solve it all yourself, of course, but that you want to do that. And so that I'm wondering along that same lines, if someone out there, they're wanting to start a convention, but what is, do you think, one of the biggest mistakes that someone might make that you might be able to help them with?
I think that people make things too complicated. And when you overthink things because you're trying to get it perfect the first time, you're going to make a lot of mistakes and it's going to be much harder than it needs to be. And if I could tell, because I work with thousands of event organizers, so I get it. I hear it all the time. They just don't have time. So when the littlest things happen, it's a huge deal because you're under so much pressure. It's because there's a lot of first-time people out there, or it's a big organization and they just overwhelmed because they're trying too hard. It doesn't have to be that hard. There's support systems out there. There's platforms it doesn't even if it's not Eventeny, there's platforms out there that can help you. It doesn't have to all be pen and paper. You don't have to draw your maps. You don't have to use Google Excel to do your accounting. There's things out there to make it easier on people. There's resources that are available. And that's what I would say is people overthink it and make it too hard.
I think that's the case for a lot of things, honestly. I think it's happened to me running a podcast. It's happened a lot.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I get it.
And so it sounds like the biggest service that it seems like you provide is to sort of lessen some of that pressure as far as like the stuff behind the scenes almost. Like not behind the scenes of setting up the convention, but like the behind the scenes of like ticket purchasing and all of that stuff and coordinating, like helping people find it so people aren't worried as much about that. That seems like that is one of the biggest things. Would you agree that you provide then?
Oh, absolutely. Because what it is that we can provide is the ability to have a space for all this, because all of these thoughts and everything, they have to be somewhere, and you can't just like expect everybody to read your mind. And so that's what Eventeny does. It's like it's a repository. You can have all of your vendor information in there all the time. You have all your volunteer information there all the time. It's like your book of business. So
yeah.
It's a necessity to have something like that, because if you don't have something like that in your life as an event organizer, you're never going to get ahead. You're always going to be chasing your tail because you don't know where anything is. You don't have your numbers. It's like I've owned businesses for so long. And what I tell people is that if you don't know your numbers, or you can't even like understand what kind of revenue you're making and where your money's going, then you're never going to survive. And that's what sometimes it happens. I think it's a no-brainer for people, right? Oh yeah, I got to know my numbers. I got to know where like my paycheck's going and what kind of bills I have. But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, because I would think, and tell me if this is true or not, that when you're doing a convention, you're not going to necessarily be profitable the first
Probably
year or
years,
two.
Yeah, because well, especially what people don't, I guess, like when you're a ticket buyer, you're buying a ticket to an event, you want to go and you just want to have the best time. So now the pressure is on the event organizer to make sure that ticket buyer is having the best time, right?
Yeah.
And so now they just need to clearly make it easier for them to have that experience. And because those with the ticket buyers, when you go in to have that great time, don't understand is that it costs hundreds of thousands sometimes of dollars just to have this space a day. But it's not like that for everybody, like in a hotel showroom or something, but it costs a lot of money. So it is going to take a couple of years to recoup. But so that's why people lean on the volunteers and get volunteers to help you. They're there to help, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's great that you have, like I said, if you want to volunteer somewhere, which I volunteered at Denver Film Festival, so it's not exactly the same, but it's an event, so you're still volunteering. I know that is a great way also just to be there if you can't necessarily afford to go. It's also another way, wouldn't you say, to like also network in a way almost too?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you can meet a lot of really cool people. Lots and lots of really cool people, like in the business, especially if you're trying to get into the business and you go to some of these, like even the specialty ones, like, I mean, the more niche down you get, the more easy access you're going to have to the people. So it's going to be really easy to network.
And do you do anything else with, like, I know you said, so basically the convention organizers are going to organize the guests. So do you do anything on that side with the guests at all or no?
We have a new feature. We have a new feature where we help manage the guest flow, but it's still we don't go get them. It's just the platform that hosts that. So we wouldn't be able, if that answers the question. So we don't help them get the guests or maintain the guests. We just help them get their guest information onto their event.
Oh, okay. So like basically if someone had an actor or somebody there or a creator, they'd be like, this is who, and then you'd make sure that it's in there. So well, that's nice too. So if someone was like looking for someone that goes to a lot of conventions, like Robert Englund is the first name that pops in my head. And if you're looking for that, then you could go in there and be like Robert Englund and find.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome too, because there are a lot of people that do the convention circuit. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure there are a lot of people out there, that haven't been able to see certain people and they want to. So that's a great feature too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a great platform. I think everybody should at least check it out.
Yeah. And then I just want to ask you a fun question. So because you've been on the convention circuit and you've been there as a vendor, what is probably the most fun convention you've been to?
Oh, by far is San Diego Comic-Con. That is like, it's ingrained in my soul. Before I was a vendor, I went as an attendee to that show, and it's an incredible experience. Have you ever been?
Yeah, I went as media a few years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
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 It's insane, isn't it?
I've never seen anything like it. I don't think anyone could be. I was overwhelmed, to be honest, the
Yeah.
first day.
Yep.
But it was nice with media because we had our own little room, so we didn't have to be with but
Okay.
it's unlike anything I've ever seen with
Yeah.
conventions. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Running that show is a whole different level. It's
Yeah.
a whole different thing. That's more than what we do right now.
Yeah, but you've been a vendor there?
Yes, we are there right now. Yeah. Well, not right now, but
Well,
we
yeah.
are current vendors at that show. But I love it. It's such a great event. Everybody because all the vendors do really well at that show.
I bet.
So they're always in a good mood, and we always get to meet all the people walking around. So it's a good show. It's a good time.
Well, thank you so much, Jen.
Yeah.
And once again, if you want to give the website one last time, and also just to let everybody know, it will be in the show notes, but for people that don't check it or just listening, where can they find Eventeny?
It's www, of course, Eventeny. It's EVENTENY.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate you joining me, and
It's fun. Thank you.
you're welcome. And talking about the Golden Girls and watching the Hamnet trailer with me. So I hope you had a good time. So
I had a great time.
well, thank you so much. And everybody, remember, go check the show notes. I know a lot of you go to conventions all the time, so you might have even seen this website. I don't know. But go check it out. And especially if you're looking to plan a convention, if you're looking to volunteer, if you're looking to find one, go support the smaller conventions too. Definitely do that. So,
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Once again, huge thank you to Jennifer Williams from Eventeny for joining me for this special episode of Pop Culture and Fandom News. I had so much fun talking with Jen and learning about Eventeny and what they do. So please head on over to their website, www.eventeny.com, or check the link in the show notes. To find all our past episodes, links to our social media, head on over to our website. It's afandomthingpod.com. And on Friday's episode, Erin A will be joining me. So it's 2 Erin episode. And we will be talking about Colin Farrell. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. And please try and take care of each other. I know it's a hard time right now for many. So please try and find some joy where you can find it. So thank you again for listening, and take care.